Good morning. Welcome to today's CRM for Oil and Gas webinar featuring advanced finds. My name is Christina Felchlin, Support Manager at Ledgeview Partners. Today we're going to start off our webinar with a quick update on our fall release that occurred last weekend. Michael is then going to move into the data methods to remind us on all the ways we can get data out of CRM and why advanced finds can be your favorite. Then we'll move on to our user questions, and then I'll close the webinar out with a poll on what you want to see in upcoming webinars, as well as other webinars we're offering at Ledgeview this next month. Housekeeping. To ensure the best audio quality for all attendees, we have everyone in listen-only mode. If you have a question, please submit those in the question pane of your GoToWebinar control panel. If time will allow, we'll answer during today's session. If it does not allow, we promise to follow up offline. With all webinars we host at Ledgeview, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand after the live session. All registered attendees will receive an email this afternoon with an access link to the recording as well as the presentation slides. Now let's hear from Michael Dodd, Support Consultant at Ledgeview Partners.
Thank you, Christina, for that wonderful introduction. Hope everybody is enjoying the new fall weather they got coming and the football that's just arrived. Speaking of football, let's score a touchdown and get to our advanced finds. And actually, I should say, before we do that, let's talk about recent product updates. Our product team just rolled out an excellent addition and changes to the product this past weekend. And I'm actually really excited to talk to you guys about the changes that were made, because there's a lot of talk about this, and I know it will affect a lot of you greatly and in a positive way. The biggest change that was made was between the way new accounts, so new business, and share wallet business is calculated. So for new business, the way we look at it now is if an order comes in, that order looks to the start date of the account. So if that account, let's say it was started on 12/1/2015, and today's date is 9/15/2016, and an order comes in. It's going to go, okay, 9/15/2016, it's less than 12 months from that start date. This is going to be a new business. It's going to count as new account. Previously, this was calculated as going to the end of the fiscal year. So if an account started towards the end of the year, so on 12/1, this order wouldn't have counted as new business. So that change is going to greatly affect the numbers for salespeople and sales managers. Same thing with share of wallet. We're still calculating what share of wallet is the same way. So in terms of, you look back to see if it's a new account. If it doesn't qualify as a new account, then we look at the qualifier. So how long the marketer set up to say if they haven't ordered in this many years, it's considered new share of wallet, and that's by product segment. Then every order from that first order date that comes in for that product segment, everything for a year, every order for 12 months will be considered new share of wallet. Again, this was also calculated previously by going to the end of the fiscal year. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we did also create a couple of reports. I made a few report changes, regarding this, especially report 370. This was added to dashboard 97. This will really help a lot of you sales managers out there doing sales goals for the year. It's called Estimate Next Year's New and Share of Wallet Business. So what it's going to do is it's going to analyze when the first order took place for new business or new share of wallet business, analyze what's been ordered this fiscal year, and what we estimate for the next fiscal year. So it'll help you put in those accurate sales goals based on that information. And that will be on dashboard 97. Another change, as some of you may be aware, the nightly process the data load process does not create any accounts in CRM. All it does is take accounts that are already in CRM, matches them up with the account number, and makes changes. Many of you have a lot of ship to accounts in CRM. A change we made is that you now have the option of creating those ship to accounts into CRM through the nightly data load. And that's an optional feature, so it can be turned on or off. It automatically starts as off. If you'd like it turned on, feel free to email or call me, If you have any questions, we can discuss about turning it on for you. Two other changes that we made. We changed report 301. This is the opportunity close rate, and this is for closed opportunities. We now allow you to group by industry. So this is a lot of what we were hearing about, hey, I wish I could group this by industry and see how many opportunities are closing based on that information. That's a change that we made. And then we created a new report. This is an opportunity close rate, but it's based on date created. This means this report will include open opportunities. So a brand new way of looking at opportunity close rate. So you now have two ways of looking at this. So those are our new product updates. Now let's jump into our topic for today, which is CRM Data Methods, specifically Advanced Find. Now many of you have seen this. This is probably a review for a lot of you, but this is a very important feature because CRM Data Methods is the bread and butter of CRM. So I just want to go over this as a refresher. So Advanced Find and Views is what we're going to be going over today. Advanced Find is where you utilize the Advanced Find feature, but you don't save it as a view. And that's usually best for like a one-time data set, meaning you're looking for Christina's sales between January 1st and March 1st. That's a specific set date and time that you're looking at. Now, if you were saying, I want to see what Christina's orders look like for the last 2 months, 3 months, that's dynamic. That's always changing. That you want to save as a view because you can go back. Whenever you go to that view, it's looking 2 months back in the past. And it's something that, that you're going to view frequently. A dashboard takes those advanced finds or those views that you've saved, allows you to put them into a dashboard, and also change those views into a graphic chart. And those charts can be comparison charts. You want to compare how many opportunities have been won by each person in your sales team. That's something that can be done through a chart. We always recommend putting like data sets, so like information into those dashboards. Reports, specifically Report Wizard reports, so those ones that you can create on your own. Those are fantastic tools because you can group your data. So if you wanted to group it by the owner and you want to look at order history by owner and then total up the total volume or total revenue, you can group that by owner, give a total for each owner and a total for the entire company. And you can also add charts to that. So you can have a chart depicting the information and then have the numeric information just below it. Custom reports. This is a piece that LedgerView Partners would have to create for you. Everything listed above, Advanced Find, Views, Dashboards, Reports, those are all things that you as a user can create. For custom reports, when you want to look at doing a custom report, if say you have an upcoming annual review and you want to make a very nice report, change the font, color, etc. to distribute, that's going to be custom. Calculated fields are calculated fields throughout the oil and gas product. If you want to do a comparison between two of those, just a lot of our reports do that. That's why they're custom. Filtering a report after it's been generated. You can always change the filtering before you run the report. But once you run it, you cannot filter. You can search, but you cannot filter. So if you want to add in that ability, that's custom. Customized charts, so anything that the dashboard or the chart wizard or the report wizard can't create would be custom. Columns not related to the data, order history and leads. If you wanted to see what order history is generated from leads, there's not a direct connection back. That would need a custom piece that we would need to look into for you. And some of my favorite reports, specifically reports that show no data. And what I mean by that is the accounts with no open opportunities or no open activities. That's one of my favorite reports. And what that does is it's telling CRM to go in and say, for this account, tell me if there's no data in there. Under the standard CRM logic, that will confuse it. So a custom report will allow you to do that. So now let's jump into Advanced Find. First, I want to start off with this statement. Advanced Find will be your best friend. The reason I say that, and it is my best friend, especially when it comes to CRM, the reason I say that is because it allows you to gather that data, all the data that's in CRM, which is thousands upon thousands of records. It allows you to narrow it down to the information you need, and then by use of columns specifically showing certain fields, it empowers you to give that data a voice. It allows you to tell a story. So it really gets down to the importance of the data and allows it to work for you. Let's talk best practices and tips for views and advanced finds. There will be times when you come up with 0 results. This happens to everyone. Don't panic. Simply go back and analyze your filters and columns. It could simply mean that you were looking for specific data and you set it to does not equal XYZ information versus equals that information. There could be an instance where you're looking for related information where there's not a connection, so it's throwing off the data. So just go back and analyze your filters and columns. If everything is correct, it simply means that the data hasn't been entered into CRM. And also remember that related entities have a connection back to the current entity. So what I mean by that is leads, and you all are probably sick of me saying this, but leads create accounts, contacts, and opportunities. So there's a connection back between lead to account, lead to contact, lead to opportunity. Opportunity has an associated account and contact, so there's a relationship. Same thing with account and contact, and account and lead. So all of these are related. Now, if you decide to pull a field from one of those related entities, so if you're pulling accounts and you want to look at the email address for the primary contacts of each one of them, you cannot sort by that email address. You will also be unable to add a column to advanced find if there's not a relationship. So like order history and leads, there's no direct relationship between them. So you wouldn't be able to look to order history if you're pulling an advanced find on leads. Or if there's a one-to-many relationship. And what that simply means in accounts can have hundreds of contacts. And you want to say, I want to see all of the contacts for every account that I have out there. If you run this from the accounts look for, you will not be able to see each contact. You'll only be able to see the primary contact. The reason for that is each account has one cell for its contacts. And if you have 20 contacts, you can't shove those 20 contacts into one section. Keeping your views clean. Something that I stress and reiterate probably hundreds of times. The reason this is so important, the reason keeping your data in CRM is so important, is because the more information you have in there, the less efficient you can get. So if you're repeating or duplicating information, or you have the same view 5 different times, you're not being efficient because you're scrolling through and going, oh, which one is the most recent one I set up? If it's outdated, get rid of the view. If you just need to tweak something to it, change that view, tweak it, and save it. Don't create a whole new view. And views can be changed and updated through Advanced Find. So if you have a created saved view, you just go into Advanced Find, click on the saved view, and change it. Now, if you have a system view, so like My Open Opportunities, and you want to add a column or make one filtering change, you can do that, but you have to save it as a personal view. It gives you a starting point so you don't have to start from scratch, which is a really great, efficient way to create new views. Next, we're going to jump into a scenario. Our first scenario is you want to create a priority list of your top opportunities that have closed in the last 30 days to follow up with. So to ask them how their first orders have gone, when they plan on ordering more, making sure they're a satisfied, happy customer. Okay? We're going to have the following characteristics. The opportunity must have closed in the last 30 days. We want the actual revenue to be over $300,000 or the actual volume to be over 500. And the opportunity must have at least one completed appointment. And then we're going to have several columns that we're going to add. The opportunity name, so the topic, the account name, when the opportunity actually closed, and what the revenue and volume was. Then we're going to share this with our coworkers, and we're going to grant them read access and write access. So let's jump into CRM, and I'll show you exactly how easy it is to do this. So from here, we're going to go to our advanced find icon, which is up here next to your name. And then advanced find will pop up in a new window. Most important thing is to set your look for to the information you're looking to gather. We're looking to gather opportunity information. So we set our look for to opportunities. For our first filtering criteria, we want the close date, so actual close date, to be in the last 30 days. So if we go last X days, where X is the choose date, so we type in 30. Next, we want actual revenue to be over 300,000, so is greater than. And then we simply type in 300,000. And we also wanted our volume to be over 500. So then we go to actual units, is greater than, and then 500. Now in our scenario, we said it could be either over 300,000 in revenue or over 500 in units. To do that, we click on the little caret next to each one and click select row. And then up top, we click on group or. So now what it's saying is the actual close date has to be in the last 30 days, and the actual revenue must be over 300,000 or units over 500. It only has to meet one of those criteria. And our last filtering criteria is we want at least one completed appointment. So if we go to activities, and we go to activity type, and we do appointment, and then we do activity status equals completed. And all I'm doing is double clicking on it on this side to have it appear in the selected values. Now the last thing we need to change to do for filtering for opportunities, we only want to look at our own opportunities. So we're going to set the owner to equal current user. And that's very important for when we save this and share it with our coworkers. Because that owner equals current user, instead of saying our name specifically, it's looking at who's logged in viewing that view. So it's going to work for each one of your coworkers. So then we'll run the results just to make sure everything looks good. So we click results. We have 7 results. And because of the picky criteria, you probably won't have very many results that come back. Now that we feel comfortable with our advanced find and the results we have, we'll go back to the advanced find tab, click on save as. I'm going to save this as closed opportunities in the last 30 days. Click save. Now to share this with our coworkers, we want to go into saved views. And because I have a lot, I'm going to sort this by last modified. So here's my closed opportunities in the last 30 days. And then I'm going to share. So I click on the share button after check marking it. And then we do add user or team. And I'm going to add in Christina. Click select and click add. And in our scenario today, we're only giving her read access and write access. So she can read, meaning view the advanced find view, and she can make any edits that she chooses. She cannot delete it. She cannot assign it to be owned by someone else. It will always be owned by me, and she cannot share it with anyone else. So we check mark write, and then we click share. Now keep in mind, this does not automatically send an email to Christina. You will want to let her know that you've made this, you've shared this view with her and where to find it. Where she can find it is, if we go back into CRM and we go to sales, opportunities, and go to our drop-down list. It'll appear under my views. So now let's jump back into our PowerPoint presentation. Here's the scenario and the filtering just so you know what it looks like for future reference. Our second scenario is, would you like to know over the past 12 months how many of your orders have been new accounts or new share of wallet? Then you want to show the following columns. We're going to jump into CRM and we're going to show you quickly how to do this. So if we go back into Advanced Find, wait for it to load, we change our look for to order history. Again, we want the owner to equal the current user. We're looking at the order date to be the last 12 months. So last X months, 12. And our other criteria is that we want it to be is new account. We want that to be yes. And is share of wallet to be yes. Now again, this is another either or scenario. So is new account and is share of wallet. We want to select that row and click group or. Then we go into our columns. And for our columns, we simply need to make the adjustments of what we want to see here. We want order date. We don't need the account, the order ID. So we click OK. And we do not need the product. We do want product segment. So we're going to add in department, total revenue, total multiplied volume, because if you have any multiplier in your data load, you'll want to make sure you grab the multiplied volume. So we scroll down to the T's, total gross profit, total multiplied volume, total revenue. We want to start with the account, then order date, department, product segment, total revenue. And as you can see here, all I'm doing is highlighting it, using the arrows to move. Total multiplied volume, total gross profit. Once you have that set, you click OK, and then click Results. Now you can see you have 37 that are either new accounts or new share of wallet. This is the Advanced Find scenario that we just created. Again, it's here for your reference. Other Advanced Find capabilities, and a lot of you have probably heard me talk about this before, but you can do bulk edit capabilities where you export the information into an Excel spreadsheet, make the changes, and re-import. Bulk edit and Advanced Find. If you're making the same edit to multiple records, you can check mark all the records you want to change, click the edit button, and make the same edit. You can assign records. There's an assign record in the upper ribbon. Add to marketing list. This would be for your marketing department. Deactivate and activate records. If you have several accounts that you've been working with, you're in an Advanced Find to pull that information, you can deactivate all those at once instead of having to go into each one. If you want to send a mass email out to each contact based on a specific information, you can use send email. Create a quick campaign based off of a marketing list. So if you pull a marketing list of information, create a quick campaign. And then you can also run various reports. As you know, in reports, you're filtering that information so show specific information. This is taking that first step out, and you just run the report right from the Advanced Find screen. That's all for our Advanced Find topic today. Let's jump into our user questions. Our first user question is, can you edit columns in a report like you can in Advanced Find? The answer to that is definitely yes. You can edit columns in a report, wizard-generated report, like you do in Advanced Find. It's the exact same way. However, so any reports that you created through the report wizard can have their columns and group by edited. So that group by that I talked about in the CRM Data Methods, if you want to group it by industry, owner, close date, that kind of information, that's all editable in a report wizard. Now, all the reports that LedgeView Partners has created within the oil and gas product are customized reports. Those cannot have their columns edited. That is an enhancement, and it's a customization. Our next question from a user is, I can't edit the account number field in CRM. That's a great question that does have to do with security, although not the security user profiles. You must ensure that the user has been added to the edit account number field security profiles. You can always contact LedView Partners. We can check that information and add them if needed. Once you know that you're in the account number field security profile, navigate to the account, go to the account number in the upper right corner, make the change. You want to make sure that field matches the account number in your back office system. Our next question, is there a way you can change the owner of an opportunity to change the CRM account only at the same time as well? The opportunity is considered a child record of an account. So the account dictates what happens to the opportunity, not vice versa. So in this case, any change to the opportunity would not affect the account. So if they change the owner of the opportunity, it would not change the owner of the account. However, we do have it set up currently that any change to the ownership of the account does not change the ownership of the opportunity. And it's because there's a lot of times where there can be very large accounts that require multiple different opportunities that multiple different salespeople handle. If you delete, share or unshare, or merge an account, which is reparenting it, this affects the opportunity. Those changes will flow down from the account to the opportunity. Ownership does not flow down from accounts. Our next question is, what can I make changes to in CRM in terms of forms? This is a question that we get a lot. In terms of the forms, so the different entities within CRM, customers ask, what can I change? What can I make edits to or change the appearance of? There are two entities within CRM that you can make small changes to, and this is for accounts and opportunities. We can make any field business required, optional, or business recommended. The other change that we can make is we can change the label. And by that, it will change the way it appears on the form. Please keep in mind, though, that the original field name, so if you changed it from account to company, account would still show, but it would be in parentheses behind the new company label. Our last question is, I was wondering if there's an easy way for marketers to quickly get to the number of active parent accounts each rep owns. An account with no child or no ship-tos would still count. This is an excellent question, and I'm going to jump into CRM to show you how to pull this information. So this is, again, done through Advanced Find. So we're going to open up Advanced Find, and we're going to go to Accounts. Right here in the middle of the screen. So we've set our look for to accounts, and for our filtering, we want the parent account field to not contain data. The reason for that is because a parent account will not list itself as the parent account. Only child accounts will. Same thing if a child account has no ship-tos, it's not going to have a parent account listed. So a parent account does not contain data. Owner to equal current user. And then we want to set the status to equal active. And then you can change your columns accordingly, like we showed during our demos today. And then you can also set up various charts to show this information. So for example, if we go back into our PowerPoint presentation, here on the right is an example of a chart that you could pull. It's going to show all the number of parent accounts by owner. And that can be set up through a chart on the entities screen. Now for managers, I recommend removing the filter of owner equals current user save the view as a chart. So this is the chart that I was showing. To get to that, you want to remove the owner equals current user filter.
All right. Thank you, Michael, for that great content. Users, we want to hear from you on what you would like the next few webinar topics to be. We have launched a poll. Please let us know what you would like to see as your future webinar topics. So we have reports, dashboards, how to create and share views, share a wallet, a new account. That could be how to enter it and how to look at the report, similar to what Michael had discussed earlier, but going into more detail. And quotes. You guys can vote. Just going to take a couple more seconds here, so get your voting in. And then what do we have as our results? So it looks like we have a tie for reports and dashboards, and then a close second for how to create and share views and quotes. So perfect. All right, well, thank you so much for voting, and we will make sure that those are our next few webinar topics. Our next CRM for oil and gas user meeting will be on Thursday, October 20th, and our topic will be probably reports or dashboards. You will receive a new invite to register for the fall webinar series, so please make sure you register when you receive the invite. Other upcoming webinars, on September 22nd, we are hosting a webinar called Driving Sales with Targeted Lead Nurturing Strategies. And then on September 28th, we have How to Profit from Account-Based Marketing. As always, all webinars are recorded and available on demand. If you register after the live webinar date, you will immediately have access to the on-demand recording. To register for any of these, you can visit ledgeviewpartners.com, click on News and Events link, and scroll to the upcoming webinar section and click on More Information to register. Please remember, a great resource is your LedgeView support team. If you run into an error or have a question or an issue, feel free to reach out to the support team at crmsupport@ledgeviewpartners.com. or call them at 920-560-6888. Also want to remind you that we have our August training videos in our user group library. They're about 90 minutes long, but are chock full of good tips and tricks. So it's either a great refresher training or perfect for new hires. On behalf of the oil and gas product team, Michael and I and all of us at LedgeView, we'd like to thank you for spending time with us today. We hope you have a wonderful day.